I'm Samantha McGranahan, and this is VCU InSight. Some Richmond community members are pushing back on a plan to demolish a Franklin Street church that's been standing since 1906. Amber Towns reports from 2nd Street Baptist Church.
This church has been standing here for over 100 years, but soon it may be gone. In its place, a parking lot. The owner of the Jefferson Hotel, located right next door to 2nd Street Baptist Church, has gotten permission to demolish the building. The hotel operator does own the church property, and the church hasn't been active in years. The head of City Planning Department said last year that the demolition required something called a certificate of appropriateness. Turns out the property owner did get the certificate from the City Council back in 1992. The Richmond Attorney's Office says it's still valid today. As of today, Richmonders and protesters are advocating to save this church. You heard it here first. I'm Amber Towns, reporting live for VCU InSight.
Let's take a look at the vaccination rates and COVID-19 numbers here in Richmond. From the Virginia Department of Health, right now there's about 52 new cases being reported a day in the city. To compare a month ago, there were around 275 new cases reported in Richmond every day. If you look at Virginia overall, there are about 2,400 new cases each day. That's down from about 13,000 new daily cases a month ago. Virginia lawmakers have introduced a handful of bills targeting dog breeding facilities in the Commonwealth. Here's Kira Rascona.
At least a dozen new bills are aiming to crack down on animal research and breeding facilities in the General Assembly. The bipartisan effort is partly inspired by the conditions discovered at a Cumberland County breeding facility. The facility is owned by Envigo, a global firm that breeds dogs and sells them as research animals to the biotechnology and pharmaceutical industries. Recent investigations have uncovered horrible conditions in the facility, hundreds of puppies dead of unknown causes, food dispensers infested with insects, and dogs kept inside an 85-degree building with no air conditioning. The facility has received dozens of animal welfare violations in just the past few months. The proposed bills would increase oversight at the facility and create new ways to hold breeders accountable for violations. Several animal welfare groups have called on the USDA to revoke Envigo's license, some calling it a historic case of animal abuse. Reporting live from the Capitol, I'm Kira Rascona.
You may remember the massive gridlock that hit I-95 this January. As Raya Bryant reports, some state lawmakers are trying to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Back on January 3rd, this same highway, 6 miles north, was in a complete gridlock that had drivers stuck in their vehicles overnight. Now, state lawmakers are trying to make sure that traffic stays flowing, even in the bad weather. Snowy and icy conditions hit the D.C. to Richmond area January 3rd and 4th, causing extremely hazardous road conditions. VDOT was eventually able to free the drivers and gas up any empty vehicles the day after. Lawmakers now say they have an idea to help prevent another crisis. Senate Bill 706 would require truck operators to stay in the rightmost lane and prohibit the use of cruise control or compression-release engine brakes when driving in winter weather. The bill is currently under review by a subcommittee, and the full investigation of what caused the January 3rd backup is still ongoing. For VCU InSight, I'm Ms. Ryan Bryant.
Retail sales of marijuana may begin as early as September here in the Commonwealth. Jessica Johnson reports on a bill that would speed up the timeline for cannabis sales.
The full legal market in marijuana sales isn't scheduled to begin until January 1st, 2024. However, the General Assembly may pass a bill that would make some sales legal in September of this year. If the bill passes, retail sales of marijuana at existing medical dispensaries could begin on September 15th. That's much sooner than the original date of January 1st, 2024. Last year, lawmakers decriminalized the possession of small amounts of marijuana and made it legal to plant up to 4 marijuana plants at home. Under this bill, marijuana sales would include a 21% state tax and up to a 3% local tax. There'd also be a $6 million fee for dispensaries who'd want to sell. Virginia currently has 4 medical operators. The one in Richmond is Greenleaf Medical. For VCU InSight, I'm Jessica Johnson.
Richmond's movie scene is going green as the Environmental Film Festival is underway. InSight's Carenza Lilly has the rundown on the 3-week event.
Pollution, sustainability, and protecting the sea. These are only a few of the big topics covered in this year's Environmental Film Festival. You'll be able to catch some of the films right here on Carey Street and others from the comfort of your couch. The goal of the festival is to showcase films that bring awareness of environmental issues. There are over 20 films screening over the next few weeks. In order to watch the films, viewers must pre-register on the official film festival website. While most of the films will be watched virtually, a select few can be viewed in person in locations such as Richmond's own Bird Theater. The film festival started on the 18th and will wrap up on March 4th. Reporting from Carytown, I'm Carenza Lilly.
VCU star player Vince Williams is back after an injury kept him off the court for a few weeks. Here's Maxwell Tabor.
In the Rams game against Fordham University, Vince Williams dropped 19 points with 7 rebounds, looking like the injury never even happened. Williams had suffered an injury during the VCU versus Richmond game. He says he didn't feel any pain at the time, but it was a different story the next morning. Williams attempted to play against Dayton, but was taken out because his leg wouldn't loosen up. He is the lead scorer for VCU, averaging 12.9 points per game and leading rebounds at 6.2 per game. VCU did struggle without him during the Dayton game, getting decimated 82-52. They were able to find their rhythm without him, winning the following 2 games against Duquesne and Rhode Island. Coach Mike Rhodes said Vince Williams is nowhere near 100%, and the timekeeping in the game depends on his pain tolerance. From VCU, I'm Maxwell Tabor.